Chapter 20, verses 1 through 35. 1. Confidence lies in people of your kind, human beings themselves, also for all the time that still lies before your unused life still to come. 2. All the days of your time to come, future, still lie before you, and therefore these are still free for you and unburdened, and not characterized by impressions, so that they are still as untouched as the purity of innocence itself. 3. You are still free from the efforts and loads of the coming days, and you still have not failed in anything, because everything still lies before you and is open, such as the hours of the love, joy, and happiness, as well as those of the joylessness, worries, and sorrow, because you are still living in the moment today, because truly nothing has yet been of the time to come, future, in which you will first have to live into. 4. But what shall happen to you in the coming days and in the new time, future, is something that you already determine at the present time. Now, therefore you can change much that was previously not good, bad, negative, in your existence, life, because truly nothing is obliged to be repeated if it already was once, and you shall not doubt this. 5. Truly, you think that you bring yourselves into the coming days and into the new time, future, but truly this is only partially correct because you do indeed live into the new days and into the time to come, future, but only together with the activity of the laws and recommendations of the life-giving creation in which you are embedded. 6. And as everything in the extent of your world all around you changes, so you also change because everything is integrated into developmental change, renewal change, so that there may be continuous advancement, progress. 7. Therefore also no person of your kind, human being, is the same as another in his or her inner nature, in his or her inner world consciousness, in his or her thoughts and feelings, or in his or her psyche, in his or her character, and all other things that make him or her into a person of your kind, human being. 8. And no person of your kind, human being, will remain so in himself or herself as he or she is at the moment currently, because everyone changes inexorably in order to unfold, evolve, so that he or she may fulfill the determination of the life. 9. All life changes constantly, above all the people of your kind, human beings, both in their body and their inner world consciousness, as well as in their psyche, in knowledge and in wisdom, in ability, capabilities, and in talents, skills, in thoughts and feelings, in the admonishment conscience, and in the fertilization of the truth, learning of the knowledge about the truth, or in the belief of godliness. Religiosity. 10. How and in what direction you people of your kind, human beings, change yourselves is principally dependent upon the extent to which you knowingly, consciously, involve yourselves in the process of evolution. 11. It is truly important for you to lead your lives upbuildingly, positively, yourselves in a knowing, conscious, wise, or whether you have it led, guided by other people of your kind, fellow human beings. 12. Therefore you can determine your own determinations yourselves, just as your own thoughts and feelings. You're striving for the fertilization of the truth, learning of the knowledge about the truth, or in the belief of godliness, religiosity, where you can give your own freedom and subordination, servitude, and have everything effected, determined by external orders from people of your kind, fellow human beings. 13. Consider that each new day and the entire time to come, future, will not bring any fewer terrible things and calamities with it for all people of your kind, humankind, than all the days and the time before you past, because truly you are not better than your forefathers and foremothers, ancestors, forebears, who brought terrible things and calamity down upon your worlds and all people of your kind, humankind. Therefore, in order for everything to change, alter, to the better, you must start in the moment, now, with yourselves, and turn the terrible things and the calamity away from yourselves. Otherwise everything will stay as it was in all the time before you in the past. 14. Therefore see to it, but differently from your forefathers and foremothers, ancestors, forebears, in the times before you past, that you see, become aware of the terrible things and the calamity, and do not overlook anything, so that you may recognize the evil in it, and strive for all goodness which is waiting to be found by you. 15. And consider that nothing in life is so quickly blown away, fleeting, as thoughts that could lead to the growth, expansion of the knowledge and the wisdom of the inner world consciousness, and to a life in true love, and to gain fulfillment of the life-giving, creational, laws, and recommendations, because people of your kind, human beings, rather follow the life of earthly material joys, instead of the joys and values that proceed from the truth and the gain fulfillment of the love and of the truly life-giving creational mightiness which is your own, but which you must find in yourselves through insight, intellect, and true discernment, rationality, in a knowing, conscious, wise, and must unfold to a high value. 16. Truly, a good effect upon people of your kind, human beings, can only be had by what is in you and in your inner nature, which you knowingly, consciously take in and use process in the same wise. And only through you knowingly, consciously taking in and using, processing everything in the same wise will there be sufficient reasons for you to let you find a truly successful, strengthening, and prosperous blossoming life. 17. However, be knowing, conscious, that you can never experience the good, positive, if there were not also the bad, negative. Therefore, you would never know what is freedom in yourselves and outside yourselves if there were not unfreedom. And therefore there would not be any joy without joylessness, nor any happiness without affliction. 18. However, it is wrong that there shall be no love without hatred, because hatred is not laid down in the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations, but rather truthfully love. But people of your kind, human beings, have the power of free determination, will, by means of which you can think out, form, everything according to your choice, discretion. Therefore it is possible for you, instead of turning yourselves to the true love of the life-giving creation, according to free determination, will, to effect, create hatred, in which case you then fallaciously assume that this is laid down in a life-giving, creational, wise, which is however not at all the case. Truthfully, the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations only secure that you yourselves make your choice, decision, and act accordingly. Therefore you act in free determination, will according to your insight, intellect, and true discernment, rationality. 19. If you want to live and act solely according to the truth of the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations, then you must first comprehend, recognize them in order to understand their effect, mode of effectuation, of proceeding, origin, and decision. Effect equals cause and effect, because it is only with this insight, cognition, and cognizance that it is possible to act fairly, responsibly, righteously, conscientiously, and in fairness. 20. And truly, as a light in the firmament, celestial body star, can only shine against the dark background of the firmament's universe. So you can only shine in fairness, responsibility, and in righteousness, conscientiousness, as well as in equitableness, fairness. If you step out of your darkness of your unknowledge of the truth by turning to the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations by fathoming, researching them, grasping, recognizing them, and understanding them in their effect, mode of effectuation, so that you may act according to them and therefore follow them. 21. And acting according to the laws and recommendations of the life-giving creation is the same as the allegory, example, comparison of the surging sea that inspires you, because you know the high tide that always brings the water back after the ebb, because if you fall prey to all kinds of terrible things due to you falling away from the truth of the life-giving, creational recommendations, or simply show contempt for them, then the joy of living and happiness will return to you, like the water of the tide. If you once again bethink the laws and recommendations of the life-giving creation and turn yourselves back to them and follow them. 22. Always consider that your life is given to people of your kind, human beings, in order to bring it to fulfillment, for which you require the life-giving, creational principles and all recommendations, through the forming effects, mode of effectuation, of which you can only live and learn, from which you can see, recognize, that your life is indeed precious, which is however only possible for you, because you are knowing, conscious, that this is limited by death. 23. No, every differentness, contrariness, depends on each other, has a logic precondition, like ebb and flow, like day and night, and like life and death, because everything belongs together and is a whole unity. 24. All amongst you know, if you are capable of insight, rationality, and true discernment, intellect, that this is the pure truth which you shall follow, and in doing so keep to the life-giving, creational, laws, and recommendations so that you have a good life in fairness and in righteousness, conscientiousness, as well as in responsibility. 25. Truly, you do not want the untruthful, false negative, and not the evil, and therefore not the bad negative, just as also not affliction, not lovelessness, not unright, not iniquity, not unrighteousness, consciencelessness, not badness, the dishonorable, not unfairness, irresponsibility, not unfreedom, not unpeace, and not dissonance, disharmony, and nothing else that is villainous, heinous. 26. Just as, however, you do not want the untruthful, false negative, but rather the truthful, good, upright, positive. So at the same time you overlook the fact that precisely these pernicious, negative things of the untruthful, false, are the prerequisites for the possibility that you are able to effectuate, create all good, positive things and values in yourselves, which are true love, internal and external freedom, as well as peace and consonance, harmony, in yourselves and in the extent, amply, amongst people of your kind, human beings, individually, as well as amongst all people of your kind, humankind. 27. Truly, you shall not effectuate, create, the untruthful false negative in any wise in yourselves, and you shall not bring it into life, not live it out. Rather, you shall only make it imaginable, conceivable, through your insight, rationality, and true discernment, intellect, thoughts and feelings, so that you may have insight, recognition of all terrible things at their root, so that you may knowingly, consciously, turn yourselves away from them before they can become effective, active. 28. Therefore it is not given through the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations that the untruthful false negative shall be effectuated, created in yourselves and serve as a cause for a decision effect, because truthfully it shall only serve as a source, means, of observation, imagination, for cognition and understanding, comprehension. Equals the untruthfulnesses, the false negative in any form, shall not be active and not become acute, and therefore not break out, but be solely and exclusively created and become conscious in the imagination for the purpose of recognizing, seeing, the false and the negative in it in order to take measures against it, so that it cannot gain might over human beings and therefore cannot become active inwardly or outwards, and cannot come to an upsurge. 29. If you are undisguised, truly open, in your world of thoughts, then you would like nothing better than to avoid and remove, eradicate, everything that belongs to the extent realm of the untruthful, false negative. However, this may only be done in such a wise that all that is removed, eradicated, is what is really vigorous, active, and ausgeartet in the untruthful, false negative, and is therefore lived. However, the source, means of viewing, imagining, for reaching the cognition of, understanding, comprehending, may not be broken off, switched off. Otherwise it will happen that the internal whole unity of differentness, contrariness, will dissolve, by means of which people of your kind, human beings, will lose equality, identity. 30. Truly, this misinterpretation, misunderstanding, does result in very many difficulties in life problems, which you as people of your kind, human beings, experience as difficult hours, days, and times, but which you can understand, comprehend, and experience quite differently if you make it clear to yourselves that you only then truly have a full life if you direct yourselves according to the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations, and therefore according to the truth, and bring about form, truthfully love in yourselves, so that you also find your equality, identity, and you form your own character in your all of yourself, personality. 31. And truly, your all of yourself, personality, which you can continually widen until the moment that you depart from life, belongs to the characteristic things of people of your kind, human beings. 32. And those amongst you who do not know that shall be taught that this way, possibility, has to do with the fact that you as people of your kind, human beings, can conduct yourselves freely during your life and be able to decide, everything freely according to your will, although you shall bear in mind that everything remains within certain boundaries, limits, which are set for you, so that you may heed and follow the guidelines, instructions, of the regulation and the laws, and recommendations of the life-giving creation. 33. The fact that you truly see, realize, and comprehend, implement, Only little of this freedom of your right of determination, self-determination, is explained in your extraordinarily pervasive, profound idleness, laziness, through which you turn yourselves away from the truth and from taking insight into the true life, just as also you turn away from true love that is given to you along with everything else important in life through the life-giving, creational, laws and recommendations. 34. There is no phase in life in which people of your kind, human beings, necessarily find less sense, whether it be in the time of youth, in the time of middle, settled age, or in the time of old age, advancement in years, because each time brings forth its own laws of the life, exceptional, special, difficulties, problems, and special, particular, opportunities, possibilities, which you must meet, master yourselves according to their condition, form. 35. Truthfully, it is of significance, importance, for people of your kind, human beings, whether and how you allow yourselves to be touched by life, whether you make use of your inner freedom and consonance, harmony, or not, and at the same time you have to ask the question to your admonishment conscience, as to whether you are willing to do so or not.